What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Pliyo, and today we have the latest Final Fantasy XIII crossover featuring Sephiroth. How is everyone feeling after the latest dungeon ranking? I'm feeling quite optimistic about the game. I really enjoy the latest dungeon ranking. I saw so many sweats, and I actually enjoyed that I needed to push myself to rethink my strategy many times to get back to first principles. How do we get more damage? How do we buff in the right order? How do we get better at the coordination between our hands and the UI? Which is the UI. I know I'm slow, but let's recognize that the UI also plays a role against ourselves sometimes. Anyhow, Overture is the new weapon and is fantastic for the guild battle ranking that is about to come in a week, I think. Overture is called, and only with one copy. Look at this. Only with one copy, it deals 600% physical water damage, which is almost the same damage as Tempest, the other weapon for young Sephiroth. Physical defense increase low, that it can go up to mid, and then it buff water damage to all allies from low to mid. So with Tifa, you could get this to high if you have the gloves from Tifa that will buff all your buffs, right? And it also applies HP gain, meaning that you can most probably play with some tanks to avoid bringing a healer. That's with only one copy. Pretty powerful. And also he already has a weapon, Tempest, right? That does water damage resist decrease. So then he can be the buffer if you just have one copy. Now, the situation changes completely once you go OB10. 722 physical attack is extremely high for a weapon. Like getting a stat above 700 is already quite high. At the cost of 40 TB, it does 1,340% physical water damage. This becomes the weapon that does more physical water damage in the game. But not only that, it has a huge roll compression, physical defense decrease mid that can go up to high, and buff water damage increase mid that can go up to high. So in the past Academy crossover or event, let's call it, we had a weapon for Aerith that was the bamboo weapon that was applying water damage increase to all allies to starting with high, right? Now this one is a way to say, Aerith, you can chill now. It's my turn to shine. So Sephiroth can actually take her role of being the buffer. But look at this. It's a buffer that debuffs and does more damage than anyone else in the party. So he becomes the key unit for a water ranking event. Physical attack 46 and water potency 42 are not the highest stats, but it breaks triangle seal, which is always useful. This is a fantastic weapon. I'm gonna try not to pull because we have some other options, and I'm gonna show you my team composition. But honestly, even with a single copy, the value that it brings is quite high. But of course, we cannot be pulling everywhere. So that's my thinking. Now, let's look into the outfit. Well, first of all, let's look into the design. Look at this. What is this half a skirt made of feathers? What is this? And this tiny shield reminds me of Troy, you know, the movie from, I don't know which year, but it was Brad Pitt, right? And he was shouting, Hector! And he was doing the funny jump of getting behind the... I don't know, it was a fantastic movie, I think. I mean, popcorn movie, but quite epic. I remember that. But anyhow, the outfit, yeah, the shoulders move in a way that is... What is this movement? Oh my god, it feels a bit odd. The skirt is feels better. Yeah, maybe when you look at the whole thing, with zooming out, it looks a bit better, but when you zoom in, it's a bit weird. Anyhow, the hair looks fantastic, but I'm just not convinced by this. This semi-skirt is throwing me off. And to be honest, like, we need to recognize that young Sephiroth always have like this kind of like vibe. Sometimes it's a bit quirk, sometimes it's a bit like, you know, showing off skin and things like that. And he brings now, you know, he was like, guys, we need to go to war, but I'm gonna bring my half skirt because, you know, I'm feeling like a queen with my half skirt. Look at this, so that they don't see my left leg here. They don't know if they're gonna kick them or not because it's, you know, it's hidden. Honestly, I would have preferred if they would have done the whole skirt. Maybe that would have been a bit less ridiculous. What do you think about this? Oh my god, having so much fun with this design. Anyhow, let's look into the stats, which is what we are here to discuss. Knight of Etro. Is Etro a place that we know? Is Etro a place that I'm supposed to know? Maybe it's part of the lore that I don't know. Maybe. Water potency plus 15% damage to all allies, huge value. Knight's loyalty, physical ability damage 20%, water ability damage 30%, HP 15%, is the classic top-notch DPS outfit focused on a single element. Therefore, and not doesn't have reprieve. Therefore, it doesn't rank in my list of must pull. It doesn't, and I think it's an skip unless, of course, you are in one of those guilds that want to clear stage 5 and stage 6 and want to compete. In that case, you need this OB10, right? Because he's gonna play a huge role in your water team. He's gonna be the main player. So an alternative, if you are not pulling, an alternative could be something like this, right? This is just an alternative. So Aerith, Angel, and Glenn. But this still requires that you pull on a few limited banners. The thing about the Academy banner is still my favorite because it was so rewarding to players, and that's why I have this one even in +4. So this was doing water damage high, right, to all allies with one click, with only 4 ATBs. You can ignore the magical water damage because the guild fight is going to be physical. Now Kamura, of course, physical attack increase and then magical defense increase in case that you need it. Angel can come with his limited banner weapon, the one that came with when he was released. Provoke 940% is quite nice. Veil as well applied, and then he can do water damage water resist decrease mid that can go up to high with provoke as well, so he can still receive damage. And then look at this, Streamer Slasher was updated, and now is pretty competitive because it does 900%. Physical damage is decreased, which is these two things are same as the new weapon, right? Not only that, it also applies Veil to all allies, meaning that potentially we could ditch Aerith if you have the new weapon for Sephiroth, so that Sephiroth does water damage increase. Actually, then, if that was the case, Sephiroth could bring Tempest to do water resistance down, and then Angel could bring something else, for example, Stalwart Integrity to do physical defense increase plus physical attack increase, as long as you keep your HP 70% or higher with all this Veil applied and all this HP gain, etc. Maybe that would be possible. We need to test and see. So then, yeah, the second weapon for Glenn is nothing, so that he continues doing DPS and doesn't get distracted. Arguably, you could also bring a Slay the Day, but then you already have the physical defense. Water damage increase, you have that from the bamboo stuff from Aerith, so you don't really need this, and then it's not a distraction from Glenn. So DPS, stay doing DPS, and, Angel plays the tank role, provoking the enemy, plus water resist decreased, and then, Aerith pops water damage. This could be an option, plus physical attack increase. This could be an option. Of course, you need to bring the right summons and so on and so forth. I didn't set them. And the materia, I guess we will need to use the one from the 2nd anniversary. We don't have water materia unless they have introduced that today, or they will introduce that tomorrow, and I didn't realize yet. So these are my thoughts. I think it's in general a skip, unless of course you are looking to exceed expectations, to smash the latest guild ranking. So those are my thoughts. What do you think about this? I'm really excited to hear your thoughts. And also next video, probably tomorrow, I will be chatting about the ranking event. I'm so excited to see what was my final score, and also I want to discuss every fight a little bit more in depth with the challenges that I found. I appreciate I was not the fastest one, with my controls and stuff, but I also think we need to recognize that the UI is also playing against that a little bit, right? I don't think the UI is perfect. I don't think the UI is the best, most smooth UI ever. And at some point, the game feels like a fighting game. Would you agree with that? What do you think? Anyhow, thanks a lot for watching. Really appreciate all your time and attention. And if you're new to the channel, I love covering Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis content, so feel free to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Hope you have a fantastic day. And if you're pulling, good luck in your pulls. Until the next time, cheerios! Bye-bye.